Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to continue our examination of the 70s science fiction comic anthology Andromeda. We're up to number 3, and look at this beautiful cover by Paul Rivoche, co-creator of Mr. X, and man, that's some slick stuff. That's like science fiction paperback art. Speaking of great art, the guy who's in all the inside front covers of this comic, Robert McKinter. But this is like, whoa. This is 10 notches above. I mean, he's always drawn this amazingly well, but he always just had like a little drawing of this little girl or something. But getting all this, I wish you guys could see this. The shading here, I've never seen anything quite like it. It's almost like little cubes. Some of these almost have like a cube-like quality. I just can't even imagine how long this would take. And then look at the texture on the ground here. Insane amount of detail. Some of these skulls, pointillist, beautiful pointillist art. The shading on her, all those lines, that's insanely good. I gotta find out what's up with this dude, what happened to him. Contents page. And here we have Tom Nesbitt, once again doing his Vaughn Baudet routine. His art's different, obviously, but look at this, just the rounded panels, the blocks of text. The lettering looks very Baudet too. And this is Wiley L. Wiremeyer. And I think this is the first chapter. It does say it's going to have a next chapter. And there's just funny stuff, funny sci-fi. Pretty funny stuff, actually. And now we have our main adaptation this issue, Exile of the Aeons, adapted by Arthur C. Clarke, by B.P. Nickel, and the art is by Paul Rivoche. And in the editorial in the beginning, Dean Motter mentioned that this took him a year to draw. And when you look at this, you get it. This is some amazing shit. Look at this mountain. Incredible stuff. So this is sometime in the future. There's this guy who's known only as the Master. Apparently he was a would-be world tyrant. He was trying to take over the world. It looks like he's failed. The last of his fleet of airships is being destroyed by the rest of the world governments, I guess, have united against him. He's in the Himalayas. That's where his stronghold is. And he can see and hear the battle. And he knows it's not going well. Look at this stuff. Amazing. So he goes down into his bunker. He's so good at drawing machinery. Look at this right here. That's some incredible stuff. It's not as good as just drawing the human body. I mean, he's damn good, but this stuff's outstanding. There's some like hands in here that look a little off. They say that's the hardest thing for an artist to draw is hands. That's how you can tell if an artist is really good. Just look at their hands. So he basically triggers this explosion, which dumps like 1,000 tons of rock over the entrance to his bunker, not caring that a bunch of his soldiers are out there. He sacrifices them. He goes to address his council and basically tells them, hey, you guys are all going to die. I mean, you can't be taken alive. They're going to kill you anyway, so thanks for your service. But I figured out a way to escape, because apparently the Master's a genius, so he's come up with a cryogenic type thing. He's going to set it for 100 years in the future. He's going to come out and try to take over the world again. He doesn't want to set it too far in the future, because then he'll be like a caveman. So he wants to give it a little time, and then when he comes out in 100 years, he'll have to learn all the technology he's missed, which shouldn't be hard for him, because he's a genius. And then hopefully with that technology, he will be able to take over the world. These guys don't look too happy about their fate. This one guy just blows his own head off camera. Stuff's incredible. It's kind of like, I think it's airbrush. I think he's airbrushing a lot of this. This panel just looks like photos. Just like, it's so amazingly detailed. So he gets in his cryogenic chamber. Meanwhile, outside, the last of his ships are being attacked and being killed by the Allies. And I think I mentioned this last time or two episodes ago. Paul Rivoche did do science fiction paperback covers and album covers. He had his own graphic design firm, I believe. Or maybe he just worked for someone. But I've seen some of his stuff, you know, outside of Mr. X, his design work. It's slick. He's just a really accomplished guy. Really good technique. Look at this crazy airbrush thing going on. So they basically drop a missile on the bunker. And there's this device outside the bunker that would like basically calculate how many days have passed. So in 100 years, it would make him wake up. But this missile hits that device. So he's keeps sleeping way past the 100 years. I mean, he sleeps for so long that the tectonic plates have shifted and the Himalayas turned into plains. I mean, this is like seriously far into the future. You know, new oceans are developing, new mountain ranges are popping up, and the old ones are crumbling to dust. And his little sphere is unearthed after from erosion after millions of years. He's still in there. So pretty much the sun, it's gotten so far in the future that the sun is dying. And there's still human civilization. But the sun is getting old. So this is like millions and millions and millions, untold millions of years in the future. We see this guy, his name's Trevendor, the philosopher, and he's on trial. So basically he disagreed with the ruling council about something. They don't even tell us what it is. And apparently this civilization is very different than ours. They don't believe in killing. So they basically tell the guy, they say, we're going to exile you. I mean, that's what we usually do to people who don't fit, to a planet. And he says, you know, guys, there's no place in the galaxy or the universe you could hide me. I have followers throughout the universe. I'm going to keep fighting you. I just have this fundamental difference with you, philosophical difference. And he even says something like, maybe you should just kill me. And they're just like shocked, like, that is such a questionable thing to say. Like, I mean, that's how far advanced humanity's become, where just the idea of killing someone, even your enemy, is just unheard of. So he finally comes up with an idea. He says, well, you guys have time travel technology. Why don't you send me far enough into the future that, you know, this civilization will have passed, but the Earth will still be around. The sun is still weakly shining. So they do just that. He's in the far-flung future. It looks like it's pretty, like there's no human life left. And this is how nice they are. They send him like a building that'll take care of all of his needs. I guess it'll make food for him so he can live out the rest of his days in comfort. They leave this plaque for him that explains that. And so there's a spaceship, an aircraft in this building. He decides to explore the world. Look at that. That's incredible. I mean, every panel's pretty incredible in here. But it seems like he really excels at the backgrounds, doing like just the sky, the mountains. And he does find this a sign of some human civilization. I mean, it's long dead. So I guess relatively recently, there was some human civilization. And then he stumbles upon the master's cryogenic chamber sphere. And he goes inside and he wakes him up. And in the future, all people are telepathic. So he's, reading the master's mind. Of course, the master's like, who the fuck are you? How can you read my mind? And the Trevendor is just like, wow, how primitive are you? Like, you don't know how to read minds? Man, you're a fucking caveman or something. And so he looks inside his brain. He sees the horrible devastation of the old times, back when men used to go to war, the master's times. And at first he assumes, maybe he's a refugee from this time. He tried to escape it. And then, of course, by continuing to read his mind, he realizes, oh no, this guy caused it. And he wants to keep doing shit like this. He just has tyranny in his heart. Look at that mushroom cloud there. That looks like a photo too. This is incredible stuff. And so this guy who comes from a society where the idea of killing anyone is just unheard of, he just realizes how evil and dangerous the master is. And he just goes in there and using his mind powers just basically gives him an aneurysm, blows his brain up, and kills the master. It did seem like he made his decision a little quick, considering that nobody wants to kill from his time. Like, he'd even try to think of something else to do with the guy. Like, he could have just put him back to sleep or something. And then we just see this last page of him, obviously, thinking about what he did. And who knows how he's going to deal with this, his conscience. And just a beautiful, look at that sky. It's such a shame that this is printed on newsprint. This needs to be reprinted somewhere on nice paper. Because you can even see the imperfections in the printing. Things fade out and stuff. It still looks wonderful. He was one of my favorite cartoonists from Andromeda, Don Marshall. And God, look at how good he is. He can draw anything, but he kind of has this like humorous style. He almost always draws humor. And we see this old codger, kind of this old coot, and he's traveling through space with his robot companion, and he discovers a planet. And I guess it's finders keepers in the future. He's just like, it's my planet. I own a planet. I can't believe this. This is awesome. And apparently it's got a great atmosphere. So he's so excited. So he lands on the planet. I love this kind of drawing. He is so good. I can't believe Don Marshall didn't do anything, didn't do much. I'm sure he, got in advertising or something. He's too good to not draw for a living. And so he runs out of the ship. He's all excited. He's like, it's my planet. I own this thing. This is great. And then he runs into this guy. And this guy says, my world, and I welcome you, stranger. And it looks like he's buried in the ground. Like he says that he has roots. He says, I'm part of this world. And he literally is. He's like connected to the planet. Like a plant. So he's wandering around and he sees, he thinks about, he says, I bet there's all kind of goodies lying around here just waiting. And all of a sudden he sees malnobium, which I guess is a very expensive element in this world. This is so weird. He says malnobium, and one of the malnobium things says, oh yeah? So he's all like, I struck it rich. He's really happy. And all of a sudden, he's talking about what he's going to buy with this money. He's like, I can do it all. Cars, booze, women, big ones, little ones, round ones, any kind of woman I want. And then all of a sudden, these women show up in this floater car. Guys, this is so weird. Like, so I had this comic as a youngster. I got it from Bud Plant. My good friend who recently passed away, Andy, he was older than me, and he had these comics, and he would let me just go through his comics, even when I was like 10. And I remember picking this up, looking through it, and just being like, oh my God. Because remember, guys, I grew up, there was no porn anywhere. This was, this is what I had to, this is what got me by, little things like this. So as soon as I could, from Bud Plant, I ordered it, and I got a copy. I don't know, I must have been 13 or something. And I looked at these pages a lot. And I'm not going to tell you what I did while I looked at these pages, but I looked at them a lot. And it's so weird. When I flipped this page last night, when I was reading this, it was just like it hit me. Because, you know, you stare at something so much with such a certain kind of intent, it really burns into your brain. And I probably haven't picked this off my own shelf in decades. And when I looked at this, I was just like, it just was like, zzz. Yep, I remember staring at this woman's ass a lot. Just all of this. I love the way he draws women. Just totally voluptuous, hot women. You didn't see many women like this in comics. So all of a sudden, these women, more and more of them appear, and they're all hotter than the last. They all basically jump on him. And pretty soon, he's just like, I can't stand it. And he crawls away. It's just like too much. So he realizes what's going on here. It seems like anything he thinks about becomes real on this planet. And so he says, he basically wishes for this bird doodler. It's a mode of transportation. Oops, shit. Sorry, guys. I got this wet. Let me get a napkin. Oh, no. It was 9.7, and now it's 4.2. I won't be able to slab it anymore. So he runs into the guy in the ground again. He says, take care of what you wish for. So he's got the bird. He's got a female companion who's super hot. And he's wandering around. And he starts thinking about a scary snag-toothed monster. And all of a sudden one appears. Of course, because anything he thinks of becomes real. So he's trying to get rid of it just by saying, go away. But I guess he's not wishing it away. So he pulls out his gun. And it looks like it's going to kill him. But he finally gets a shot in. He shoots him and kills it. I did want to mention, it's kind of funny how, so this guy talks like an old codger, you know. You know, he kind of has this dialect. Will you get out of here, you ugly grape slime-infested? Like, he talks like, you know, kind of like a hillbilly. And it's funny because then the captions, the narrator, uses the same kind of dialect. So basically he realizes, okay, I gotta be really careful. This getting everything you wish for is kind of dangerous. So he says to himself, he says, okay, this is what I want. 6 cases of that malnobonite, a glide car, and then don't pay attention to my wishes or my thoughts. So that's his wish. So he basically cuts off his own power. But he figures he's got all this riches and a car, and he's going to speed to his ship and get the hell out of there and live like a king. And then the world starts to change. And the woman says, you told my world to ignore you. This is the way it looks like when it sleeps. So it's just like this rocky planet, still so beautifully drawn. Look at these canyons. God, Don Marshall's so freaking good. He's just got this amazing, perfect style. So this woman's kind of like, oh, you hate my world, you're going to leave? He's like, hell yeah. I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. It's a crazy planet. And when he lands next to a ship, the robot says, "Oh, it seems like our ship is going under." They're in this like lake. And he sees that old guy again, the guy rooted to the planet. And he says, "What the hell's going on? I want off this planet. I wish I never came here." And the guy reminds him, he says, "You gave up wishing, remember? Besides, I'm afraid you're stuck here just like me." And all of a sudden, he's starting to get rooted to the planet. And he's like, "Let me out of here." And basically all these like tendrils are coming towards him. And we just hear a scream as the camera pulls back. I don't know why there's a boot flying in space here. I must have missed something. But I like that touch. And then it says, far down in the pits of the planet's core, we see this alien. Another being has taken root on the surface. And he says, good, hook it up and start monitoring its readouts. Now we have a new source of program material. So I guess they capture these people as entertainment. They monitor their thoughts and stuff. And then he tells the maintenance department to pull the old guy out. He's like, yeah, pull out the old man. He's starting to ramble. We've got a fresh one now. That's like a funny little story. And God, I love the art so much. So this is that ad for Silver Snail Comics we've seen in every issue, featuring Eric Can, their other comic. They're kind of Asian barbarian. And that's McIntyre's, so it's by Robert McIntyre. Earlier I said I didn't know who did it, but I realized that's his crazy hard to read signature. So that's why it's so beautiful. And then we have a beautiful cover by Don Marshall. Oh God, I love this though. The watercolor kind of faded to give it depth. That looks like totally in the background. It's just like kind of washed out. And then this is cleared, beautifully colored. Really gives it a sense of depth. That's just a great painting. I love this alien flora too. That's just crazy. It's beautiful stuff. Oh man, I forgot how much I love Don Marshall. And not just because I used to jerk off to his comics when I was a kid. He's so good. So there you have it, guys. Andromeda #3. Hope you enjoyed looking at it with me. I hope you didn't mind me talking a little bit about my personal activities when I was a youngster. And I hope you can find these. I don't think anybody wants them. I'm sure they're not expensive, but these are great. And I wish they were a little more comic-y. You know, I don't like this whole adaptation thing with the blocks of text. You know, it's very Byron Price Visual Productions type stuff. But the stories are all really damn good because, of course, they're adapted from some of the great science fiction stories. And the art, God, this is some amazing art. I can't believe this was just like a small comic book company funded by a comic book store. It's almost like Dark Horse Comics. You know, it was just a retail store. They said, we're going to make a comic. We got a little extra money. But just the quality of talent in here, I don't think they had much of a budget. Like they couldn't hire Neil Adams to do their cover or some hotshot comic star. But just these guys that they knew in Canada that all are so talented. It's quite remarkable. So that's it for tonight's video. And I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.